some of the challenges, some of the biggest obstacles you've had to overcome, either in recovery or in your career?
Well, I would say the biggest challenge was realizing um, I had an addiction. Um, yeah, taking responsibility for that addiction, and realigning with you know a more true purpose, I guess. So I, I I started to share about the things, and this is where Gabor came in, right? Like for anybody that might see this, if you just Google Gabor Mate and your brain and addiction, I think is one. It's about an hour long. We really broke it down to why I was acting the way I was acting for so long, because there were times in my 30s and especially from 35 to 40, like where I'd screw things up and I'd just wonder why I acted the way I acted and why I couldn't just get things right. Like an epiphany was like, so painkillers were one of the things I took for a lot of years. He explains how when you take a painkiller, take away physical pain, you numb yourself, the receptors to your emotional response system as well. So I'm wondering why I'm not, I'm off balance emotionally. So I'd overcome this stuff, and how the body produces all this stuff naturally. And I never allowed my body to give it a chance to do that. I always threw these chemicals into my body because they make me feel good, really. That's why I did it from day one. There's people out there that do it to kind of hide what's going on, or to get out of maybe depression or different other mental issues. But for me, I always wanted to dominate how I felt. So I had to learn how to feel things for the first time normally without any help from a substance. So that was huge. But I mean, by the time I got there, my house was nearly up for sale. My wife had separation papers. Um, I had to overcome all that. And to do that, I had to, in my mind, I had to let go to come to terms that could possibly be the way it goes. And I still had to get myself healthy for the sake of myself. Um, but I mean, I dealt with all kinds of things that I shelved, like the disease of addictions. Like I said, how it disguises itself for me and how I've learned what I've learned about it. I dove right in, like I studied addiction like it was my job, like my life depended on it, because it does. So I learned about recovery and addiction. I still continue to, but basically what I learned was my body, my mind, my ego, whatever you want to call it, built like a state-of-the-art, top-notch defense system to make sure I didn't deal with stuff to feel pain. So I dealt with all the stuff that ever happened that I can remember growing up. And that's kind of what I learned sitting in those sharing tables, talking to counselors at the Novo. And really when I said I was doing it all backwards, I was hiding all that, keeping that stuff to myself. I was sure that if I told people how I was feeling, because I didn't really know how I was feeling, if I just shared these things, that they would surely not want me in their lives. And really, by sharing them, I have so many more people in my life. It's really like an oxymoron that it took some time to learn about, and it's 100% true. So I dealt with, they had to do a timeline at the Novo, and I think it went from zero to three, 6 to 9, 9 to 12 years old, and on a scale of 1 to 10, bad things that happened that were negative in your life and things that happened that were positive. Well, all the sports I used to play were kind of before 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Um, all the good times were there, 15, 17, 18, 19, divorce. My parents were divorced. I found out my dad wasn't like all these things that happened that I just shelved. Like my mind told me, okay, it's okay, it'll be fine. Move forward, right? Not being the husband I wanted to be for most of my marriage, like that kind of stuff. It might not sound like huge challenges, but I turned myself inside out and looked at exactly what was going on, because, like I said, my life and my family's life depended on it.
And so now you talked about some of the challenges. Do you want to share some of the positive things that came out of that? How are you doing today? How are you doing in recovery?
I play hockey again. I play baseball again. I run regularly 3-4 times a week. Like I started running when I got out of that Novo Treatment Centre. Probably a week out, I couldn't go around a 400-meter track. Like one time, I'm running my first marathon July 1st. It's 44.2 kilometers. I've already almost run that a couple times, but I mostly run for it just clears my mind and it just feels so good for me. So I found like natural ways that I feel really good. I got to go work for that company a couple years ago that walked me off the job. They called me back. They heard I was doing well. We call it making amends in the 9th step, making amends. I got to go make amends, do the job properly. I got to go see the same people that walked me out the door and say, like, take responsibility for what I did back then. Like that was an amazing feeling that happened in 2019. To be a supervisor on the bridge now is something that I never thought would happen if I admitted I had a problem, right? And that's what's really a tricky one for people in the trades. Like there's help there for us. We just have to go tell someone. We don't want to tell someone when we're in our addiction, right? We're everything inside of me. Like I was thinking about, if I do go to a treatment center, I'm gonna hide it from my work and find like another one. Like I just could have never imagined that the support that I have and the friends that I have and the ability to um, not have to tell a single lie about anything that I do anymore. Like that right there, like is a freedom I never even knew about until recovery. And for people that struggle with using every day, like you wake up every day thinking like, where am I going to get more? Do I have enough money? How am I going to hide that I spent this money? Like all that, it's all gone. I don't have any, like there's such a freedom that I have. Um, that's the greatest gift that I could have ever imagined, to be secure in my own skin, safe, um, know that I can share things and nobody's going anywhere. Like I can tell people the good, the bad, the ugly. I still ain't, I'm working on being a better communicator in life. Like um, but I mean, it's not because I'm scared to share anything. Like I will tell anybody whose intentions are in the right place, like anything that I can to help them, and to help me.